if the program worked, people wouldn't mind them building there. But when they build and sell the homes, which is what you would hope they would do, they only count a quarter of them. And so they've added tremendously to the housing stock of the town that they take the 10% of. But when they build these, there's only a very slight increase in the percentage reaching towards the 10%.
But you're still increasing the overall housing stock in that community and driving up the median price. So in an overall picture, it's almost as if a dog chasing its tail, that a town will have trouble catching up to the 10% figure on one hand, and you'll also see the number of units increase at a high rate, which ups the average cost in that particular town.
If a 40B developer from out of our community can come in and say, Farmer Jones, you're zoned for single-family housing, but we'll give you 5 times as much because we can put 10 or 20 units on that piece of land. What does that do? It raises the overall cost of land to every single-family developer, making the cost of new single-family housing opportunities prohibitively expensive.
It's a tremendous disincentive to buy a 40B on both ends. If you think about it, that if you're buying a home and you're paying a portion of the rent of the person who lives next door because they've got to reach to a certain profit level, and if they're selling this one much cheaper than the one you're buying, you're obviously paying more than you should for it. And so yours is you're gonna lose money, and the person over here has to sign a deed restriction. They're not gonna make money if the market goes up. The deed restrictions are making sure that you will not reach the American dream of buying your home, selling it, and getting into a better one.
There's got to be some happy medium to working with the community to put something in. You know, in the Shovel Shop project, that is one of the 5 most endangered historical landmarks in the state of Massachusetts. It's really a jewel that everybody should be looking at as far as a redevelopment of that property.
Look, I don't blame communities for wanting to be deeply and actively involved in planning for this stuff. They don't want this rammed down their throat.
And I think if the developers were smart, they should be happy to reassure people and tell them, we're going to do things that are going to make this the best part of Easton. You're going to be proud to be living down the street from this. They could really be superstars for putting in a project that really made this town a landmark of the best use of 40B.
You cannot, can't get it at the point of a gun. This has got to be a collaborative process. You've got to plan together, you've got to work together, and the state has got to put up some bucks.
If the state truly wants to do affordable housing, the state needs to get into the affordable housing business and come up with a system to do that. 40B works when it's a compromise and everyone sits at a table and works out the details. 40B does not work when something that doesn't belong gets shoved down a community's throat.
I think NIMBY is a real lazy term to put on somebody. I would like to consider myself to be someone that's educated, that's going to be open-minded. I'm not an opponent to any of these projects, but I still want to have my questions answered, and I want to know what the projects are. At the end of the process, when everything is out on the table, then I can make an educated decision as to whether I want it in my backyard or not.
People had no awareness on this until there was a proposal for, a structure that was going to go up in their backyard, block their light, create traffic problems, put demand on their, water supply. But I think it's become so prevalent now that I think you are seeing some commonality in people banding together and realizing it could happen down the street from them.
It doesn't have to be not in my backyard. It could be I want to see what's in my backyard.